Welcome to the weekend. I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute and your devil's advocate. With me, a guy I'm a big fan of, Nick Gillespie from Reason TV. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, for those people who are stuck watching, PBS as a mainstream, they don't quite understand that there's a whole new world of television coming, and it doesn't come over the broadcast waves. It doesn't even come through your digital television signal. It comes through your internet connection.
That's right. It's broadband rather than broadcast.
Talk to me just a little bit about this upcoming new way of getting news and information to people. Video, but it's on internet.
That's right. Reason TV started in 2007, and we produce, this year we'll produce about 400 distinct video pieces, many of them documentary segments looking at policy issues ranging from immigration to drug legalization to copyright protection, you name it. And we're part of this huge shift that you see in some mainstream media organizations. I mean, newspapers and whatnot are putting more and more video online. But then other independent producers or places like YouTube that aggregate content from all sorts of people who are just posting everything up there. Even the AP now probably produces as much video, which is up there online, as it does print copy.
But Reason TV is an outgrowth of the Reason Foundation.
That's right.
People might be a big fan of the Libertarian-leaning magazine, Reason Magazine.
That's right. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I got caught in this movement was Bob Poole, your founder, who just did an incredible job. And finally, they used to have these things called paper, and you would open them up the paper and you'd read these things. And I'd read about Bob Poole's research and what Reason Foundation was doing. I was like, this is incredible.
Right.
Now it's moved. A lot of our job in the think tank world is to communicate. We do it on this show, my radio show, on the internet. What's different about Reason TV? Well,
I think Reason TV, I had been the editor of Reason Magazine from 2000 to 2008 before taking on this new media stuff. One of my goals there was to kind of promote what I called capitalism with a human face. And we can actually do that much more effectively with video, I think. I mean, that's part of it, is that, words are great, pictures are great, words and pictures together are even better. And I think one of the things that Reason TV allows us to do is to reach new audiences and also tell stories in different ways that can be quite emotional, quite comic, and quite scintillating.
This is where our side fails. Our side doesn't tell narratives. We don't tell stories. We throw up flow charts and graphs. We have theorems. We talk about patriotism and liberty, but we don't show the guy whose house is being taken because Walmart got the city council to condemn it. We don't show the guy who's in pain.
Because his cancer drugs have been taken away, or he's not allowed to have medical marijuana, or some treatment hasn't been approved yet. That's absolutely true. And one of the things that video can bring, I think, is an immediacy and the emotional dimension to what it means to want to live in a free world. Our subtitle is Free Minds and Free Markets, and humanizing that is very important. To give you an example, we did what I think is a very powerful piece about the DC school voucher program, which was something coming into office. Barack Obama had said he was going to allow this small pilot program for school choice vouchers in D.C. Of course, after he got into office, he almost immediately pulled the plug on it, or had his various minions do it. And we found this woman and her daughter who were participating in the program and were benefiting from it, and who were big Barack Obama supporters. And seeing them engage the issue really drives home that school choice is not something that can be told particularly well in terms of charts.
What a wonderful story to show Barack Obama's two beautiful children going to the classiest private high school in D.C., and then for this program that allows just one little safety valve for working families in D.C. to get choked off as soon as he gets into office. Good stuff. All right, for those people who haven't seen it, let's take a quick peek here. Here's a tease. This is what you're missing when you see Reason TV. Let's take a look.
For Reason TV, for Reason TV, for Reason TV, I'm Nick Gillespie. You may have heard that UPS is in quite the bitch fight with FedEx. Although they're both package delivery companies, they're governed by totally different federal labor rules. Would Obamacare lead to death panels? Is it a government takeover? Supporters and the president himself are fighting back against such claims. It's time to legalize pot once and for all. Congress is about to pass what's being called the biggest financial sector reform package since the Great Depression. But the new regs won't be any more effective than the ones they replace in preventing the next major panic. And it tells us who the real villain is here. A federal government that is big enough and powerful enough to absolutely positively guarantee that it can crush any business overnight.
So basically, Reason TV is just you primping around in a leather jacket for as many teeny bopper fans as you can get.
Yeah, and occasionally an old orange corduroy shirt.
Yeah, so that is the crucial element to reaching the younger audience.
I think that self-promotion is probably the way forward to liberty and freedom for all, or at least for me. But
you just want to meet women.
No.
Has this helped?
Yeah.
You go to the bars and go, oh my God, is that the guy from Reason TV?
No, and I have gone to a lot of faculty cocktail parties at various places where it hasn't helped at all, to be quite honest. If you notice, my nose gets progressively flatter as the videos go on because I keep getting punched in the face.
That's a good thing. We're not the only ones that are doing this. Of course, Independence Institute does. We do animated videos. We do all sorts of videos. Reason TV was a real early on in this. How do you judge success? How do you judge whether or not the liberty message is getting out?
It's a good question. I mean, you can look at certain things, obviously, like views on YouTube and things like that, and we've had videos that have been seen by over 300,000 people, and then you also look at it in terms of what kind of impact does it have for a more select audience. So, for instance, we've had good feedback from a couple members of Congress of things that we did that they were definitely watching and reacting to. So that's success in that you're getting into the mind of people who really have their hands on the lever of power. But then part of it is also growing, a sense of aesthetics. Like, are we getting better at storytelling? Is it fun? Is it interesting? Is it exciting at least some subset of our audience? And we're doing pretty well that way.
The left does this really well. I mean, the left has handled this. And would you agree with me that those of us on the right are really trying to play catch up? We don't know how to tell stories as well, even though that our stories, I think, are much more compelling because they're individualistic.
Right.
But they know how to label a story well. We're just learning this.
I don't know if I agree with that. And here's one of the reasons. The old joke used to be that the reason why the left won the 60s was because they had better music and better clothes. And I think, there's something to that.
Better music.
Yeah, certainly. And I think better clothes. I mean, but in any case, we can debate that.
And we will debate this.
If you had a TV show, maybe we could debate
exactly.
that.
But what 60s clothes were good? Bell-bottoms, were those good?
Bell-bottoms are more of a 70s thing, but yeah, bell-bottoms are great. Hip huggers, neighborhood jackets,
I'll give you that.
paisley, and you're talking to somebody who hasn't worn a color in like 25 years, but it was all good as far as I'm concerned. People dressing up like Abraham Lincoln.
Were you a big lapel kind of guy? You had the wide lapels that would go out?
No, we share an Italian-American heritage, and I think to undercompensate, my parents kept me in pretty tight lapelled jackets.
So in other words, you also had the shiny disco shirts that
I think if you look closely, my Italian horn is probably showing. But
what is that Italian horn thing?
I don't know. I try to avoid it.
Wait, we're both from Jersey.
That's
we're
right.
both from Middletown, New Jersey.
That's right.
And you can't tell me, and I can't tell you, what that stupid guinea horn thing is.
You told me that we couldn't work blue, so I don't think I can explain it. This is a family show.
Got it.
So, but to talk about that question of playing catch-up and whatnot, I actually think that this is starting to happen. In new media, first off, a lot of the older stories and the kind of traditional sob stories have faded and are fading. And I think we're seeing a resurgence, broadly defined on the right, but also on the left, where for me, and this is something I believe in, that the political spectrum is left to right, and it's more about, are you in favor of control or are you in favor of choice? And this is one of the reasons why it's an interesting time to be a libertarian, because we have witnessed 8 years under a generally Republican government, which was not good for individual liberty. We are witnessing hopefully 2 years of control under a Democratic government, which is also terrible and awful and even worse for liberty. And that what I think people are starting to figure out is what I want is, I want choice in my life. I want the same choice that I have when I go to a Starbucks, when I go to school, when I go to the hospital, when I have a job, when I have a gender.